We live in a twilight world and there are no friends at dusk. Les Luthor here, the Angel of Kiev. And, well, it appears my little bold and bankrupt clickbait video worked. And all of the little normie NPCs have come out of the woodwork talking all big in the comment section. What I don't realise is every comment they make actually builds up the algorithm, and well, it just brings more energy and attention to my video. But anyway, for those of you who don't know me, I am the guy that went to Kiev and debunked all of the lies by the mainstream media.
Good evening. As we go to air, Ukraine is in a fight for survival. It's all out fighting on the streets of Kiev, with anyone who is willing urged to pick up a weapon.
Kiev under attack as Russia closes in on the capital. Fire breaks out as government officials confirm active fighting has hit the streets. Ukrainian soldiers swarmed the city as the threat drew closer, lying in wait, guns drawn. Residents filming Russian tanks rolling in, this one driving directly into a car, crushing it. The assault intensifying.
The capital, Kiev, has been the clear target in the last 24 hours. And Russian forces are closing in on the city of Kiev itself, moving in from the northwest and the east.
tego.
Our Europe correspondent, Carrie-Anne Greenbank, was one of the thousands spending the night in a bunker in Kiev. And, Carrie, what are you being told right now there on the ground?
Well, Georgie, the explosions that we're hearing now are pretty constant, and we're being told to stay where we are, and when the air raid sirens go off, to head down to the bunker.
Residents of the capital, Kiev, are bracing for further Russian airstrikes as the city holds its defences. A 40-mile-long convoy of Russian troops is present on the outskirts of the city. Russia on Tuesday stepped up its military offensive. At least 5 people were killed on Tuesday after Russian airstrikes struck the Kiev TV tower. Before the attack, the Russian military had warned the residents of Kiev to leave the city, saying that it would carry out strikes against facilities in the capital. A U.S. official said that the miles-long armored column bearing down on the capital Kiev had not made any advances in the past 24 hours, frozen in place by logistical issues, shortage of fuel, food, and also perhaps pausing to reassess the tactics.
According to Western officials, Moscow underestimated Ukrainians' willingness to fight. As this production line of petrol bombs suggests, that's not likely to change.
So I'm now walking away from the main train station, away from the main movie set. Good night, man. It kind of looks like business as usual around here. Maybe a bit quiet. I don't know. I've never been to a city before to know what it's like normally. But hopefully past here, we'll see more and we'll see what's going on. See how much shops are open. To me, it just looks like another lockdown. They forced all the shops to lock down, so what are people going to do anyway? If they can't do anything in the city, they're going to leave anyway, right?
Russian troops are closing in on the capital. Their military vehicles have been filmed entering the city. And in the last few hours, multiple explosions have been reported.
Wow, this is how you do it. This is how you LARP a war. What's the view like? I don't know if you can see, but there's a bit of snow coming. Yeah, man, this is it. No heating, she said. Got a table. Socket. Although I haven't got that type of plug at the moment. Yeah, man. Stained up pillow. Woo! Shit. So whenever I record, I have to hold the phone as if I'm, you know, having a hands-free conversation, because I don't know, the second you hold your phone sideways as if you're taking a, you know, as if you're filming, well, it doesn't go down too well around here, and you're putting yourself at risk of being pulled over by the Ukrainian police. So I have to be very careful about how I present myself, you know. Last thing I want to do is get arrested around here. But yeah. So far, no bombs, no bullets. I can't even hear any like distant explosions or anything really. The only thing they do is they do blast the siren over the city every now and again, the air raid siren. But that's about it. I mean, This is now like my third day here, and I've managed to get coffee, I've managed to get hotels, hostels. It's all still here, you know.
Meanwhile, inside Kyiv, Ukrainian forces build up their defensive positions, including installing anti-tank hedgehogs.
Is this the one we want?
This is Irpin, a residential suburb of the Ukraine capital Kyiv, under intense attack. Civilians grab what they can and flee. Grandmothers in wheelchairs, babes in arms. Independent media organizations say the Russian attack resulted in civilian deaths.
I can hear the sounds of sirens, so I'm heading towards the noise. And yeah, I don't know if my phone's able to pick up sirens, but there's definitely sirens going off right now, so I'm going to head towards where they're going off.
Fears are growing that Russia will mount an all-out assault to capture Kiev.
But tonight, all eyes are on Kiev. There have been exchanges of fire in the north of the city, which was reached by an advance party of Russian troops. Ukrainian authorities say 18,000 machine guns have been handed out to volunteers who want to defend their capital.
The problem that we're having is that because of the weapons that the Zelensky regime handed out willy-nilly in the last few days, a lot of criminals have these military-grade weapons, quite frankly. There's been all kinds of havoc because of these criminals. And it's known for a fact that these, a lot of the shooting that went on last night in Kiev, gangs settling scores and shooting one another. That's something that the Western media is not talking about, of how the Zelensky regime, by handing out weapons, has basically given weapons to all the criminal elements in the city. I have Ukrainian family members. I think that the Ukrainian people are a brave, gentle, and wonderful people. But at this time, I think that the Zelensky regime has gone insane. There have been some people who have claimed that I'm lying about being in Ukraine. I'm standing right in the middle of Krashatik Avenue, and you can see in the distance everything. I'm actually worried about getting shot, man. Not shot by the Russians or shot by the Ukrainian army, but shot by fucking criminals that the Zelensky regime has armed. Dude, I'm so fucking angry, man. These fuckers are creating chaos. It will only cause the death of civilians so that Zelensky can have a fucking photo op. That's what's going on.
But the hotel that we're staying at, well, it has been doing its best impression to look like it's closed. It's been taping up the front doors with black plastic. It's been closing the curtains, switching off the lights at night so as to not draw any unwanted attention. It feels very much like what the World War II blackout regulations must have felt like.
That's it, Chris. It's war. War has broken out. This is a war.
That's it. Yes, it's war. From now on, the day-to-day will be providing the most immediate coverage of any war ever fought. On the front line and in your face, Donald Bethlehem.
Standing by, Douglas Hurd.
The day-to-day smart bombs have nose-mounted cameras. This is Smart Bomb Stephen, and that is Susanna Gekalois.
I'll be reporting from inside the fight.
Like some crazy Trojan. But first, the weather from Sylvester Stewart.
So I thought I'd return back to Kiev main train station, and it's a lot less intense today, a lot less people, a lot less soldiers, a lot less police, which is, I think, a good sign. It was kind of hellish when I arrived a couple of days ago, 4 or 5 days ago. But as you can see, surrounding the train station is an abundance of restaurants. I think there's around 3 McDonald's, a Domino's, a KFC, and then loads of other little, independent food places. But what they've done is they've closed them all, which of course forces people into using the Red Cross at the station. Once again, they're manufacturing a situation. I mean, look how much food this could feed the whole city here. But once again, they're bottlenecking people into the movie set of a Red Cross refugee like food hall. You know, it's all manufactured. You understand? Of course, these are major corporations that have gone along with this massive illusion. So on this bridge is a good view of the skyline of the city. There was no smoke in the air. There are no fighter jets. I think that's a power station over there. Yeah, just business as usual, really. Still no signs of a war. I'm now at a stage where I think it's probably time to move on, as there's no real action happening in the city. Now I know a lot of people are claiming that there was never any action in the city. Well, I disagree, because as of like the 1st of March, there was endless, BBC, Sky News, and so on, reports of intense fighting reaching the city centre. There was also many reports and images of bombed out buildings, and there was actually quite a fair few crisis actors on TV claiming that their house Their very house that they lived in, their very flat, had been bombed.
It would seem that the fighting now is very, very close to the centre of Kiev.
It looks like that. I mean, from the pictures I'm getting, but basically, what I see, I've just got a message from my mom. Finally, I couldn't reach her.
She is in Kiev itself. Yeah, she's been taking shelter with your family.
She's been taking shelter.
I don't want you to be forced to talk about something that is obviously so sudden and traumatic. This is unimaginable for all of us.
So there we go, one tank drives down the street. I've so far been very disappointed. I haven't seen more helicopters and fighter jets flying around trying to scare the shit out of people. Because that's the whole purpose of this. It's to bring the illusion to life, is to have actual props like this driving down the street. In the hope that, you know, TikTokers and whatnot will pick it up. You've got to bring these illusions to life with real life physical things like this. We live in a twilight world and there are no friends at dusk. I'm just going to do a quick walk and talk because I'm not currently in anywhere that's claiming to be a war. But let's talk about the capital of the Ukraine. Now, those paying attention have probably noticed that they're constantly switching the story about what's going on. When I was back home in the UK, this story was there was fighting on the streets, the tanks were rolling in and heavy bombardment was happening. And there was even talk of vacuum bombs and chemical weapons and so on. Once I started to head closer to the country, I noticed that the story started to change to actually the Russian military was stuck some stupid number like 66.6 kilometers away from the town. I mean, come on guys, it isn't Russia meant to be the oil producing country of the world and they've suddenly forgot their petrol cans whilst planning an invasion of a country? Come on, absurd stories. But yeah, the battle for Kiev was lost, has been lost anyway for ages. The second that illusion manifested into a real human response, the globalists won that round. I'm sorry, but the New World Order won that round the second they manifested a real human response from all of their illusions. So yeah, but if that city does get taken, all that's going to happen is all of the Ukrainian LARPers will get replaced with Russian LARPers. And instead of one Ukrainian tank driving around to scare the shit out of people, it will be one Russian tank driving around the city to scare the shit out of people. The flags will change to Russian flags and it will be Russian costumes, military costumes. And that's all it will be. And instead of it being Ukrainian Agent Smiths, it will be Russian Agent Smiths shaking down the people, making them LARP along. And I will happily... That's what I really wanted to capture, really. I was hoping that was going to happen while I was there. I really wanted to be the guy that filmed the Russian tanks going in